All right, so let's take a look at what we're going to do today. Today on the live stream, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to all upload the virtual locker together as a class to make sure that you get it submitted to me. Now, I have begun grading the assignment you have already turned in, but there was a tiny bit of issue. I don't know if something is going on with my Canvas. I'm having people submit things that aren't even for my class. And when I'm asking the students, why would they submit that? They're showing me on their screen that's not what they submitted. So I did stop grading. That part came about yesterday at the end of the day. I was having some other issues they were coming down and helping me with that were bizarre. But like, that's very strange. And even one of them looked like it was a teacher's thing from the computer department. So before I grade any more on the things you have sent in, and then you're going to send this in today, hopefully they'll get it straightened out for me tonight so I can get everything graded this weekend. Okay, so we'll do this in a minute. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to upload the virtual locker together. I'll go through it and show you all the things I want you to get rid of before you submit and what you do need to put in there. And then today we're going to begin to work with the actual elements and principles of art piece by piece. Today we're going to start talking a little bit about lines and what lines are. We're going to talk about what the principles and elements are as well. And then we're going to start a little activity. We will have a project that goes along with the elements and principles of art. We won't get through the project today. It's kind of going to be an ongoing thing over the next few weeks as we learn different parts. You'll go back and put this together. All right, today we have a lot of little pieces going on, but working us towards creating a project in the end that I think you'll be happy with. Hopefully you'll be excited with. Hopefully it'll let you begin to put together the elements and the principles, what that means as you create art. All right, so that is the plan. And then while I have all of you here, all of you e-learners, please see if you can find the supplies we need at the bottom that I have for the 26th. The 26th would be Tuesday, but I believe we may have made a slight adjustment to the schedule. I believe we're going to do a different thing before this activity, and more than likely the activity you're seeing on the screen. So I would see you Tuesday, Thursday of next week. More than likely, we're going to not need it until Thursday. So if you are going to have difficulty getting that, let me know, and we'll see if we can come up with another alternative for you. But more than likely, this will be pushed back one day because we decided we wanted to throw something else in there first that might help you understand what we're doing with this project. It is a new project we're going to do. It's really cool. It's fun. And so we want to make sure we have all the pieces in place to help it be beneficial to you. So if you are an e-learner, if you can try and have those supplies, it's saying the 26th, but I believe it will be the 28th now. Okay, so that's where we're at. All right, so the first thing I need everybody to do is get out your sketchbook so we can talk about what it is you're going to send me for the virtual locker. Hopefully all of you completed them. If you didn't, hopefully you can get it done soon and get it to me, but they are due today. I believe I have until 11:59. I will tell you if we do it as a group, when we do it as a group, if you can do it at that point, it's going to be way easier for you to do that. I'm not sure either. So everybody's looking at me. I don't know either what's happening, but they must want their sketchbooks out for some reason. Okay, so if you could go to your sketchbook and get that open. And why is that on there? Okay, and so on your sketchbook, please make sure you have your name and your hour. If you never changed it, I noticed in the advanced classes, there were a lot of kids in the second level who never changed that. And that is one of the points I'm giving. So if you have Jaeger's name on it, you didn't change that. I would love to give you a point for having my name on it, but it's got to have your name. So if you have to change it, you can put a different type and a different color. I just put that on because red draws your attention. All right, so first thing is, did everybody have their virtual locker page in your sketchbook, or did anybody do it just by hand? If you did it by hand, you do need to upload it to the page. The same for you at home. If you didn't do it on the computer, you got to get it uploaded, get a picture, and create a page. I'm going to guess most of you didn't. I did have one student who didn't understand we were doing it all on the computer. It's okay. We can still put it in there. All right. So according to the sketchbook you have, I'm just going along with my pages. If you can follow along with where I'm at. Can you guys at home can see my screen, right? Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure everybody can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going through with the pages that you should have in the book. We're at What Do Artists Do? We have Now It's Your Turn. That is the thing you should have turned in for the artistic behaviors. You came up with 3 new ideas. Okay, you should have a page that says one is born an artist. You must learn to think like an artist. All right, and then we get to the virtual locker project. All right, at this point, what I want you to do is click on that, and then I want you to delete it. Hit delete and take it out. I would do it, but then this is my master. I should have made a copy of my master. Okay, so delete it out of there. And then you can delete out the next page, page 9. You can delete that because that was the directions, at least if you have one made. If you don't have one made, you might not want to delete this stuff. All right, then the project directions, you can get rid of 10. You can get rid of 11. You can get rid of 12. You can get rid of 13. These were all the directions on how to do it. You can get rid of 14 because you don't need it to say locker templates. And then get rid of any blank lockers. Don't get rid of the locker you use, but get rid of anything that has nothing on them. Now, I'm going to let you choose if you'd like to leave an example. If you want to leave an example, then leave this slide. If you don't want an example in your book because yours is enough, then you can get rid of this page. And if you need an example, then this would be an example. This would be an example. And if you keep this one, you need to keep the second one because it talks about the description part. If you don't want the examples, I don't care if they're in your sketchbook. I only care about the one you made. All right. And then if you needed to define your locker, hopefully you use this page. If you defined it on your page and you don't need this page, you can get rid of that page. Okay, so the only thing then that would be left in this section is your locker and the examples, if you chose to keep the examples. But anything that says is an empty locker is gone. Anything that gave you directions can be removed as well. But you should have from think like an up to think like an artist. And then anything beyond that until we get to Unit 1. So back underneath modules is where you need to go now. You're going to go to modules, and mine is organized. Let me pretend I'm a student so you don't see everything I have. You should have the daily recordings. So this live stream I showed you each day with the calendar is right there at the top if you ever get confused. And then you're going to have a digital sketchbook. Each of you should have something from I guess we all have 115. And then there are a bunch of other ones we'll bring in today in just a few minutes. And then we have the getting to know you. We had 2 things we've done. One is the virtual locker, which we're submitting today, and What Do Artists Do, which you should have submitted last time. So if you didn't submit it last time, it was due last Friday, please get it submitted today, because as I do points after this weekend, after I grade, I will be uploading things to Skyward, and you should have 30 points by then. All right, so you should have 30 points by then, or near 30 points. And then I also have some reference handouts. So today, as I'm talking to you about things, there will be handouts available. You will always have the handouts on here available to the elements and principles. And it's also in your sketchbook. So you're going to have to figure out which is the best way for you to navigate. Some of you will use modules. Some of you prefer assignments. I will tell you that I have 7 different sections of things I'm teaching. I don't have time to organize assignments and modules and everything for each of my 7 classes. So when you go to assignments, there's no organization for me. I don't know how they organize. They just pull in the assignments. So for you to say, where am I going to find that? If it's under assignments, you just have to search because I don't spend any time on that. For me, it's easiest to see it in blocks that go together. That's just how my art brain works. But you can go to assignments if you need to do it. I just think it's easier to find everything under assignments because I'll group it. All right, so the virtual locker was me getting to know you. All right, so you're going to go to the virtual art locker and click on that. And I gave you the directions on what to do. So once you're good, you'll hit submit assignment. So you could be doing it with me right now, and then you'll be done. And then you're going to, don't use the website URL, at least for now. We were using the Google Drive. However, when we did that, my stuff came out like the other way. I didn't want it. But for now, keep going with the Google Drive because they're telling me in tech it shouldn't have changed. It's the same as last time. You go to Google Drive and you find the digital sketchbook, your digital sketchbook. It is always your digital sketchbook you're sending me for each assignment. Now, before you hit submit, before you do that, one last thing. This will help me. The last thing is on the digital sketchbook, if you can be open to the page that is your digital locker before you hit submit, it will bring me right to that page when I open your sketchbook. And while it doesn't sound like any big deal, not for your class so much because it's just one, but like for my advanced art 2, I have 96 kids. So to spend two seconds for each kid adds on extra time to my grading. All right, so if I can do this first before I pick the Google Drive, the sketchbook, and hit submit, it will then bring me right to what I need to grade. Once you pick it, at the bottom, I have nothing to pick because I'm not a student and it knows I'm pretending to be. Once you pick it, there will be something at the bottom that says link. Click on link, and then it allows you to submit the assignment. And up in the top right, it'll say successfully submitted 1/22/21, 7:30, or whatever time you submitted it. That's how I know if they're on time or not, because it gives me, it timestamps everything. All right. So then the next thing we need to do before we start today's activity is I want to add a couple new pages to the digital sketchbook because we're moving into this unit online and I've got you some good resources and some things that will help you. And so if you go to the digital sketchbook after, and mine isn't going to be 28 now, it's going to be after the Principles and Elements handout. So we go to Unit 1, Elements of Art, Principles of Design. After that, that should be your last slide, correct? Anyone here? Is that your last slide? No. What's your last slide? Oh, okay. Yeah, we got to put it in. That's right. I gave you the actual this assignment. All right, so we want to put it in underneath the Principles of Design. We're going to add some new pages. All right, so add, I think it's 5 new pages. Remember to add a page, you go up to that plus at the top, and you're going to just put in a plus, and you can do it 5 times. You can take this off, but the more I'm thinking about it, you might not have to. When you put in the background, it might cover that box. So if you don't feel like spending time each time taking that off, then you could take that off. You don't have to take it off. I think when we bring in the background, it will cover it. All right, once you get in your pages, then you're going to add some new things to this. Underneath modules, I will show you any of the pages. I said 5, but it's actually 7. Any of the pages that say 122 is what I need you to open. And then I need you to download. And there's 7 of those pages. Okay, so please open and download those 7 files that say 122. And then you're great. So now we need to go back to the digital sketchbook. Let me get back to my digital sketchbook. I need to add a page because I deleted the page, not thinking. All right, so now we're going to add each of those 7 files we just downloaded into the sketchbook. You can load them any way you want, but I will tell you, if you start by the first one that's at the bottom of your 7, that's really the first one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert a background. On the background, I'm going to click on background and it's going to say choose my image. Figure out where to choose the image from. I'm going to browse, and I know they went to my downloads. Here they are. They're in my downloads. I'm going to click on the first one and I'm going to say open. I'm going to say done, and there's my page. And I will continue to do that for the 7. Oh, I guess that was wrong. You got to get rid of the box because it brings in a type box. So if you didn't clean off any boxes that were on the plain pages, it does show up on the new background. So I guess you do need to take those backgrounds off. So now we're ready to go and make sure that these are in the order. And then once they're in the order, we're going to be able to move forward. So let me go back to my digital sketchbook. Let me take out a couple of things here. All right, so first, the first one that should be after the principles of design should be what are they? And then it should be what, oh my goodness. Okay, that's right. I uploaded that. Okay, so one is what are they? And then the next one should say the elements of art. Now, if yours aren't in order, you just can drag the slide with the numbered side. Just put your mouse down and drag it to where you need. But it should be what are they? Elements of art, principles of art, elements in focus, what is line? And then it should be elements in focus, line examples. Do we have this one, the elements in focus, line, like this one? Okay, because I think you already have this one in there minus the brown. I think we were, okay, so that one we shouldn't have. You should have that somewhere. Is that lower? Because that was already in the group we brought in, I believe. Or did we? So we don't have this one? Okay, so I will still get you that one. But do we have this, line reflection questions? You should have the 1, 2, and then the 3, 4. And that should be, oh, and then you have this. I know you do have this one. I think that line one was after this. It was after, oh, was it in there after that or no? Oh, you know what? I didn't bring it to you yet, right? You only go up to this page, correct? Is that all I've given you? Okay, I hadn't given that to you yet. So I will get you that one. Maybe I can get it while you're working on something else. I'll do that. We can put that in. Because we're going to have some questions at the end that you got to talk about the line. We're going to look at this little video and you got to give me some information. All right, so I'll get you that one yet. All right, so at that point, then you added 7 new pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are the 7 pages. I need to get you the 8th page. So I believe I mentioned this to you before, but let's now really talk about the fact that the elements and principles of art are the foundation of everything we do. And so just like math, you have to know how to add and multiply and subtract. The elements of art, you have to understand and how to take those and mix them up to make quality art. You have to understand. I always talk about it like a recipe because I think anybody can relate to me when I talk about a recipe. I'm a baker, so I love to talk about baked items. But if you're a cook, it's the same thing. Even if all you do is make a little snack after school, and I know how to make my favorite pizza sauce, my pizza dip, which is a little cream cheese and a can of tomato sauce and some shredded cheese and maybe pepperoni, and pop it in the microwave. It's still an ingredient. How many blocks of cheese do you need? How many cans of sauce? How much cheese? If you go by measurements. And that's what the elements and principles of art are. So I always talk about the elements of art are what you use in any given work. They're the lines and the colors and the shapes and the values. They're what you see. You can actually see those. They're the ingredients. I have to have those if it's going to work. Sometimes I have all 7. There's 7 elements. And sometimes I only use 1. But there will always be an element of art in the artwork. It's impossible to make one without it. Right, then the second thing is, if that's the what, the principles of arrangement is the how. What do I do with these things? How do I mix them up? Do I use the wire whisk, the electric mixer? Do I use the mix master that sits on the counter and doesn't even need a person involved? Just put the stuff in and turn the power on and voila, it does it. So it's how you're going to put together the line and the color to make a finished product. They're the techniques or the recipe. How is it going to go? Is it going to be, put it in the oven for so long, take it out, do this, put it back in the oven? Or does it just go in from beginning to end? And if you can begin to understand that, you will always, always have one principle in there. You can never do something without doing a principle. And on the side counter or on the side cabinet in the classroom, I have those listed. For you guys at home, you would have to revert back to those handouts where we have your elements and your principles. All right, but those are the elements and principles of art. Okay, I'm going to do one other thing. I'm going to stop this video because it will never let me download that whole